Utah, when I was a boy, everybody knew what a downwinder was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Twingate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Twingate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Well, we got so much to talk about. Major news all over the place. Got a major story right here in my neighborhood. Really major story. You know how I caught the Energy Solutions truck going through East Layton, and I said that's right where the Tony got one of his victims right there, who our family knew, you know, very well, very close with her, and she was kidnapped. They found some human remains in Fruit Heights in Davis County, and hopeful that it's possibly her. Now, he admitted to her killing right before they executed him, but he was such a lying, creepy lunatic. A very big deal. It's a very big story. They're exhuming it, and it could be the victim, and I think it probably is. It's in Fruit Heights right there. So that's a major story that's developed from the 70s, but we're going back clear to the 70s again in the Ukraine. I want to talk about this in detail today. World War III began last year. World War III's on. I had a great conversation with a woman from Ukraine I'd never met before till yesterday. She's going to do an interview with me, and her family getting out. Everybody's getting out. You should hear these stories. Oh my God. I knew it was bad over there, but she's like, oh, you have no idea. It's a fucking total war zone over there. Now, this is the problem that we have in the YouTube, the conspiracy theory apparatus. Fukushima, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just tell the truth the way it is. The facts are we had a nuclear disaster blow up in Fukushima, Japan. Everybody's gone denial. You can go into all conspiracy about the cover-up or whatever, but that's just the facts. The fact is it's the greatest cover-up in human history. That's just facts. That's as obvious as the nose on your face. What's going on in Ukraine? It's facts. So now, even on my own community, even the people that I'm associated with, close, my post-ignorant, and this group, even they're getting cold feet and backing out because they're trying to make themselves feel better. Oh, that wasn't a real video. The fuck, it wasn't a real video. Oh, that wasn't a nuclear bomb. Oh, yes, it was. I know it was in that plant. Let's get real. The Ukraine, the plutonium capital of the world. Maybe second to Y-12. But Y-12 is a small place in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Ukraine is a huge swath of real estate. Huge piece of land. It's a big, big country. It's a big, big place. It's a big dynamic. In Europe, and you can see the nervousness in Angela Merkel. You can see it in her face. You can see what's going on with Barack Obama. You can see this is a very, very dangerous freaking situation going on there. If you don't think Putin's going to retaliate on this, now here's my theory on it. This is just theory. Now, they gave a press conference. It was on Uranian. I put up the press conference. He's in his military uniform. So-called, Ukrainian-backed rebels fighting off so-called Russian troops. Now, it's like propaganda, one side, propaganda, other side. The fact is, that was a mushroom cloud that went up. That was a gigantic explosion. Gigantic. See, we had yes, you can watch the one in September. Looks very different than this one. It's been going on the whole time. But this is why this is so acute now. It's gotten out of hand. It's gotten away from them. These control freaks, the UN, the Queen's bitches on a leash, the United States military, they think they can control the world. They've gotten so arrogant. It's similar to after Japan. They go into Korea. What was MacArthur? By the way, my father and these old blood and guts freaking Marine, my father was a Special Forces Marine, in that era. They hated MacArthur with a deep-rooted passion, and rightfully so. My father-in-law, ex-father-in-law, who lived right here, next-door neighbors with the woman they think that they're digging up her body right now. 2 tours at the Keyshawn Reservoir, missing all his toes, freaking frostbite all over his leg. Hated those MacArthur. I'll never forget it. I'll tell you the story. I was with him once when I was a young man. There was a guy with a purple part on his car. This guy was up for the Bronze Star. This is the blood and guts type of men that freaking raised me. Up for a Bronze Star. The paperwork, he wiped his ass on the paperwork and mailed it back to the Pentagon. Fucking hated him. Hated the fucking military brass. Hated him. This guy fucking 2 tours of fucking duty. Pinned down at the Keyshawn. Said they stacked up Chinese fucking bodies like sandbags to try to stay warm. He said it was so horrible. He says, I will never forget it. We're pinned down. MacArthur sent us in there. MacArthur wouldn't listen. His arrogance. Keep going. Take China. Take China. China sent in 10 million men. 10 million. Fighting with sticks and bayonets. He says they were like ants coming out of the hills. Mowing them down so fast the machine guns pinned down. He says, I killed one, walked over to it, and he was a big, tall, and he says he was still alive, and he was talking to me. He could speak English. He says, I just started to cry and realized, what are we doing? What are we fucking doing? He knew he was a fucking political pawn. He knew that the fucking arrogance fucking just pushed in everything, and then it led to Vietnam, the arrogance. These fucking, Oliver Stone's right. These arrogant fuckers after World War II that came home, oh my God. Oh boy. And the geographical illiteracy of the American, these gooks, they're all the same. That was the freaking language. They couldn't tell Japanese from Korean, from Vietnam. They were all the same to them. Same thing happened in the Middle East. Same thing's happening now. So the arrogance inside the military brass has gone completely out of control. I mean, you go to a baseball game now. By the way, people didn't even there was no I pledge allegiance. That's all nation building post-war. That's all post-war propaganda. People didn't, in this country for 200-something years, didn't put their hand over a flag and look at a flag. Oh, no. They hated all that nationalism. So you go to a sports game now, they started in baseball, finally started playing the Star-Spangled Banner. How many years did it even take the Star-Spangled Banner? We didn't even have a national song until when? So this whole nationalism, this patriot building. So you go to a game now. Now listen, this is important. Please rise and pay tribute to, it used to be our veterans, which, an honorable thing to do. I mean, some of these veterans went through so much horribly. They were pawns. Played, treated like shit. The Vietnam guys just abused it. They went home and just drank themselves to death. I mean, just so abused, these pawns, victims. So now they say, rise and pay honor to, they don't say veterans anymore. They say to our military forces abroad and our firefighters and our law enforcement. Now you think about that. Think about that. Law enforcement. We're putting up as heroes now. What? Policemen are heroes now? I thought they were police. No, they're law. And they're not heroes, by the way. They're not in a war zone, whatever. And people don't even dare call the police in the United States anymore. It's real. Phone calls to the police has dramatically dropped in the last year. Dramatically. I have friends dispatcher. Our beautiful friend Chad, that's what he did, who passed horribly. He was a great guy, by the way. And my friend is dispatch. People don't call police anymore. Our calls are way down. We're laying people up. They don't dare. They're afraid of them. So they have a situation going where they need police. Whatever. They don't dare call them. because they're afraid they'll get shot or their loved one will get shot. They're saying, and that's what we're up against. So here we go. Here we go. I've got news for you. If you think the Ukraine is Afghanistan and Iraq, you are freaking so dead wrong. This is the Russian military. The Russian military, you don't think they know how to fight? You don't think they know war? You know nothing. You know nothing. 2,000 years of war? Let's think about World War I, World II. Without the Russians, you're speaking German right now. And if you're a person of color, you don't even exist. And if you don't think Hitler would have turned on the Japanese, they thought they were elitists, you don't think he would have turned on Mussolini and the Italians? Oh, yeah, you can bet he would. He wasn't going to stop. You wouldn't even be on this earth. If you're Jewish, you wouldn't even be on this earth right now. Russia lost 28 million men. 28 million. There were no men left. Oh, they're willing to pay the price over there. And I'm telling you, they had all these years of building up the Kremlin, building up Mayday, Mayday, Mayday every day. You don't think that still exists over there? You don't think they have a war-making machine over there that freaking... They tested in 2007 the world's biggest bomb that supposedly is not atomic. They have it. They said they tested it. You remember the Tsar bomb? What is the Tsar bomb and the whole apparatus that was going out counter to the Manhattan Project? Because exactly 70 years ago today, 70 years ago right now at Yalta by the sea, they divided up the world. You think FDR just handed Stalin all of Eastern Europe? No, it wasn't just hand. They knew. We heard this arrogant thing. Oh, we should have just kept going to the Kremlin. Yeah, just like MacArthur should have just kept going into China. I don't think so. They're not just going to lay down. This is not Afghanistan. This is not Iraq. These arrogant fuckers are over there. This bomb that went off yesterday is a giant, giant story. The Manhattan Project, they divide up. What was the deal on the Atlantic Conference? And not basketball. Or not the Barclays Center. Pussy Riot played in and freaking got co-opted and bought out. By the way, Pussy Riot was completely bought off. They were bought off. For real. Took pictures with Hillary Clinton, the oligarchs, Hillary, Mary Antoinette, let them eat yellow cake, all of them. Fox News, what's his Turtle Boy? McConnell, all of them, they're all freaking the military-industrialized complex, defense contractors, bitches on a leash. How do you turn this off? I don't think you can now. I think it's too late. The military-industrialized complex, beware, beware, beware. Eisenhower would be considered a raving lunatic, freaking progressive. And by the way, the liberals in this country, you should be ashamed of yourselves, every one of them. Hold hands to try to levitate the White House cultural theme park in San Francisco. The right, insane lunatics. Mentally ill, low IQ, freaking get your gun. To the left, oh, I'm an elite. Look how smart. Mommy told me I was smart. I can prove how freaking phony they are. Can you believe Sarah Palin said that you can stand in freaking and see Russia? She's so stupid. She's stupid. I got news for you. You can stand in Alaska and see Russia. Who do you think we bought it from? It's there. They're so dumb, and I'm so smart. Really? Really? Who's the stupid one? Yeah, she may be freaking, she may be a lunatic and a freak, but she ain't stupid. Oh, hell no. She's a weasel? Oh, yeah. Yeah, misguided? Oh, yeah. Got a Freudian agenda? Oh, yeah. But stupid? Oh, no. Sean Hannity? Stupid? Oh, no. Bill O'Reilly? Stupid? Oh, no. Freaking none of these guys. Operation Foxconn? Stupid? Oh, no. Weasel like a fox? Fake, 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 all the way to the bank. Bill O'Reilly. To Stephen Colbert. Stephen, you know it's all an act. Stephen. If you're an act, what am I? They're all an act. They're playing you. It's just like, okay, you go onto YouTube. I like Paul Bagrick, but, huge viewership, and he calls himself a prophet, and he gets everything dead wrong. Silver's going to go to the moon when a silver crash. They're dead wrong. They're opposite of prophets. But as long as you claim you're born again or you use any kind of religious connotation, the flock will follow. And it doesn't matter if you're wrong or right. They're smart enough to know this. I'm not going there. I refuse because I will stand historically. I will stand historically as a figure that literature. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. period. I'm using the greatest freaking genre in human history. YouTube. These are my books. These are literature. These are recording history, great literature. Yeah, now, if I had to do it for free when other things, well, I think there was a lot of great writers who did it for free. It's pay to play. Now, there's going to be somebody come along, just like there was for Joseph Smith. I mean, that's the only reason Joseph Smith Mormonism was born. Somebody came along with a huge sum of money, says, here, get the book out. Made the nice Book of Mormon, whatever, stole it, robbed it, thieved it, whatever. Literature moved the world. Harriet Beecher Stowe. You know how many freaking copies of Uncle Tom's Cabin she sold in the first month? Because she had the money. Somebody will come to me and we'll get it out. In the meantime, it's too important, it's too dramatic. I'm going to get out what I know. I'm going to get out my story. I'm going to get out my brain. I'm going to get out my past. You know, people think they're experts on nuclearism. Come to Ogden, Utah and hang around with me for a few days. I'll blow your fucking mind. I've lived this since birth. Mutated before birth. I've lived this before conception. My path was chiseled before I was born. I mean, try me. This that's going on in Ukraine, and people see. Here's what it's. It's different this time. It's always different this time. We're a different kind of human. What? Because there's more of us, and we have more technology? No, it's the same old, same old. Edward Abbey, who I knew, right here. It's as evil as it's as old as Babylon and evil as hell. 1973 said that. Huh. You think everything's retrospective. It's different. No, it's not retrospective. We live in an incredible, epic time right now. You look at the debt lately. You look how many hours work. Oh, because you have better technology, you have a better car. So you can get in your cocoon in your car and you feel a little more comfortable. You're comfortably numb. I mean, look around at people. Look at the obesity. And I can break obesity and all this. Look at the personal strife that's going on. Look at the internalization of the strife. That's what the tattoo epidemic's all about. People, beautiful girls tattooing across their chest, on their face, on their leg. The food chain, obesity, it's all stress. It's all self-internalization. It's all repression. Military police force, they cannot express themselves the way we did in the 60s and put a stop to the freaking war. The great protesters and the beautiful people, because they were encouraged by it. There were a lot of great leaders and a lot of great parents and a lot of still the old salt of the earth, the Americana. The real United States. America Vespucci. They understood that was a freaking, colonialist Spanish explorer. They never called themselves Americans. They never called themselves United States Americans. They were individuals. They were people. They didn't believe in nation building. And those people still existed. They believed in personal freedoms, and they knew that wasn't going to, Johnny, get your gun. They believed in personal freedoms through holding people accountable in their government, in their local municipalities. If police pulled this shit then, they would never last. CEOs, they would never last. They'd be gone. These people had integrity, and they stuck up for their community, and they're an integral part of their community. People not now. People sit behind a freaking keyboard in their basement, and they got the whole world figured out. Crutch. And I don't mean Charles Crutch in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I can prove it in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this will historically come out into play. The two biggest events of our generation, bar none, the two biggest events in the United States, twofold. One, Megan Rice breaking into Y-12 on July 28th. She picked that day for a reason. She's a genius, by the way. Okay, her sentencing, her trial, her hearing, it's like these people come out, no, she's living in poor, no, she's not living in poor conditions now. She was. Where were you when she was held in a federal detention holding facility for a year and a half in Georgia, 55 degrees, almost died? Where were you then? I was screaming my head. There was people out there. We were fighting. I show up at the trial. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of writers, there's going to be a lot of media, there's going to be a lot of, university academians. There'll be people flood Knoxville, Tennessee. They'll show up to that incredible place where, the Cumberland Pass, they'll come through and they'll all filter into Knoxville. I was blown away. I could not believe it. So was Megan Rice's family blown away. I had conversations with Pete Sigurd. It's me. I'm the only international media there. The only one that was not local Knoxville, Tennessee. I had this lunatic woman who showed up who called herself a writer. I had this book out at the Plowshares potluck. At the potluck. Getting her book signing by, Greg and Michael's family and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Plowshares, the old-time Plowshares are radical. They're great. The younger ones that are about my age, they're passive-aggressive, soft as freaking marshmallows. There are no Megan Rice. Greg and Michael are the real shit. You listen to Greg and Michael's statement. They're amazing, amazing men. Amazing men. Wow. I listen to their statements inside. You know, powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff. It's just me. So then we have Fukushima, the greatest ecological catastrophe in human history. We love the troops. We love the troops. We love the troops. Yellow ribbon. That's all we've seen for a decade. You know, Brian Williams' propaganda lies, all the lies that were going on then. And as I was in my head off, man, nobody listened to it. Oh, you know, gaslighting on Balco. The trial. In 2013, it was filed at the federal court by myself, the only person. I am trying to get people in San Diego to protest me. People all over the country. It's me, every day by myself. I'm staying at Pacific Beach in a little hotel. I'm freaking taking the bus over to Old Town, getting on the train, going down and walking every single day. Every day. Just me, protesting, you know, trying to call attention. My YouTube blog, and everybody just pulling by. Oh, so what? So what? They sent the U.S. ranking in and 8 other things and 800,000 military personnel on the island of Japan. So what if they use guinea pig lab rat of them? So what if they're getting leukemia and dying? So what? You know, we don't care because America's a bunch of phony fucks. So I'm down there at the, you know, the hearing. You know, Lori, she's a great activist down there. She tries. No funding. Nobody will stand up for her. Nobody will give her shit. You know, great artist. No platform, no nothing. Her and I've taken back everything I said about Helen. And I'm going to her symposium just because she will go on epic rants. She's gone on incredible epic rants in her lifetime. I've heard her let people have it. My problem I've had with Helen is because every time she gets the platform in a big way, she backs down. She, you know, that's her. You know, but I still have incredible respect because I was taught to respect my elders, you know, especially an older female who fought this fight, you know, and she's gone epic rants. But, you know, she made the statement, the Japanese are tidy little people, they'll clean it up. That's an elitist statement. Now, she can't take that back. Now, I'm going to go, and I'll listen to their symposium and their all PhDs. By the way, I want people to understand this. You know, people go out there and they advertise their PhDs. Look at picture you see anybody. I have 2 PhDs, 2. I don't grandstand. I don't play that because my PhDs are the real McCoy. Not peer-reviewed from a bunch of punk asses. I'm out in the theater. I'm actually do the work. I do the fucking work. I fucking lead culture in an independent way because that's what fucking real PhDs and real fucking theses and real fucking professors used to do. They don't do that anymore. It's a club now. It's a club. It's so they sit around, they regurgitate other people's work. The greatest PhD in fucking human history is the Pacific Ocean on fucking Fukushima. No one doing the work. No one. Ken Bucket fucking Bueller? Look at that phony fucking softball. It's called false equivalency. And until you people understand false equivalency in the whole deflectionary fucking movement, yeah, of course you're going to have the fucking earth rapers. Teddy Roosevelt fucking called it out so perfectly. You know, J.P. Morgan said it about Teddy, or Morgan's son. You know, we bought the son of a bitch and the son of a bitch wouldn't stay bought. It's amazing. They all have to be bought. Because the American populace is in lock, stock, barrel. There's no academia professors. Academia is not captured. There's no real professors. So I'll go to her symposium. We'll sit around. We'll listen to all these PhDs making $200,000 a fucking year at least that do nothing. None of them. They're all worthless. And they're going to sit and talk about wars. You know, I got this guy at USC who's going to give a take on, you know, radiation mutations. Same with me. You know, my father, an incredible specimen, nuked in the Nevada test site. I used to tell that fucking story just over. The videos that you watch on YouTube I am 100% directly responsible. Me and my uncle for those. My uncle, the retired general from the Pentagon, the fighter pilot. He's still alive, by the way. He's here right now. I'm going to go talk to the crazy fucker tomorrow. I tell him, you took too many years, played in the NFL. Gave up his NFL career to go into the fucking as an officer in the Air Force because he got more money. This is the type of men that raised him. My uncle, who just passed away, snuck out of the house because my grandpa wouldn't let him go. My grandma says, oh, you're going. My grandma, oh, you're going. He willingly went. On Omaha Beach on D-Day, in the Battle of the Balls. These were men. My father, Special Forces drafted Marine. Human lab rat like a lab rat. Nevada says, I knew it. Not from him. He's Semper Fi. He didn't say shit. My uncle, his younger brother. Oh boy. died of leukemia, mowed down in the prime of his fucking life. This is a man who never had a cavity in his life. Now his son gets AML leukemia. Me. Oh, I don't fucking talk it. I don't regurgitate it. I live it. I've lived it my whole fucking life. I'll go to her symposium and I'll sit there, just like a good student does. And I respect Helen a lot. She's an older female. I respect my freaking elders. I respect older women. I do what I have to do, and she's done a lot of incredible work, and she's done some amazing credits. But, when she makes that statement, you can blow it off. I'm not. You can blow me off. I don't give a fuck. I'll stand alone. I've done this. I've stood alone my whole life. My whole life. It's cost me incredible freaking relationships. When I was younger, the females I was involved with, the mothers to my children, the whatever, I knew Luann very personally, very close with her. Very close. We grew up together. She was an amazing girl, by the way. Grew up right on the same road as me. Very close. Yeah, Mick Jagger's freaking girlfriend, Hunter, so. That was part of my group, part of my community. And by the way, she hung herself with her own scarf. I'm going to write a book about her. Just her. With her own scarf. Do you know what that woman was able to do? Do you know what kind of incredible person she was? Oh, my God. Right here, we lived out by the lake in the boonies. You were talking nobody lived out there. That big, tall, them freaking long legs of hers, she took it to the freaking runway. She was a genius, by the way. She was one of the most intelligent people I ever knew in my life. Beyond brilliant. She becomes this incredible, amazing designer, just as very young. The whole Madonna ragtag tore up freaking shit, that's her baby. That's her as a very young woman. She's seen what happened to design. She's seen what happened to the fashion industry. She sees what happened to clothing. Oh, become a target designer. Become as the shirtwaist fire. As I go to the shirtwaist fire and protest over and over and over. That's what it's all about. She wasn't about to play. She wasn't going to play. I talked to her family. They were adopted, by the way. Her family was adopted. She went through a lot of freaking tragedies in her life. She wasn't going to. She was the pure, real artist. The pure. They kept pushing her towards this Walmart freaking Target designer. Wasn't going to do it. They kept reeling it down. How do you compete? How do you compete if you're a designer and you have a brand with people that are using slaves in Bangladesh? Remember Kathleen Lee Gifford took so much fucking heat? Now no one gives a fuck. From the richest designers all the way to the bottom. It doesn't matter. It's the tag on the clothes. It's all being made by the same slaves in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, being slaughtered, being murdered, collapsing. You don't give a fuck. Americans don't care. Apple using slaves. You don't care. You love it. You love it. The American populace is the quintessential battle from the time of man. It's enlightenment versus usury. America loves to watch their video game go slaughter people abroad, slaughter them in Afghanistan, slaughter the Garden of Eden, slaughter them all, colonialize the freaking world like a video game. Because this isn't anything, because none of us are drafted. They all volunteered. I had a head of a San Diego's cop with his bulletproof vest on come up, get in my face at the protest. You better have a permit. I says, I got a permit. The only permit ever issued. The only one ever issued. That document will be worth millions one day, probably long after I'm dead and gone. That document will be in the Smithsonian one day. Somebody stood up. Somebody stood up for those guys as they've been slaughtered and sent to the fucking wolves. I have an intel friend in the Marine Corps. I'm very tight with the Marines. Always have been. Where do you think I learned to fight Son and Alfreda, boy? Says we're monitoring the freaking radiation in Okinawa. There's 800,000 military personnel. 800,000. We're monitoring. How bad? Oh, it's bad. They know. But remember, this is the military. They follow orders. Who's giving the orders? The Americans. They watch polls. Fox News is giving you the fucking orders. Rupert Murdoch from the House of Windsor. Everything this country ever stood against. So now we're going to play ball in the Ukraine. Because our arrogance, we think this is Afghanistan and Iraq. We can do this with video games from above. Oh, this is the most dangerous situation in fucking human history. Here's what I think happened. This is a theory. UN-based CIA that are over there fighting this war. which is all the American intel. It's all the American intelligence are over there, which they've admitted. There's no false there. They've admitted. We sent in fucking American advisors a year ago. They're fighting this fucking war. This has been going on for a long time. For years and years and years. So they upped the ante. You can see it with Obama. Obama has the incredible fight with Merkel on Saturday. Okay, they say it got incredibly heated as far as the military advisors, Obama's handlers, the nuclear cartel, Exelon, and the Pentagon mass murderers, the Queen's bitches on a leash. That's all of them are. Hillary, Westinghouse, Clinton, the whole of them. It gets heated up there. Merkel's like, she knows. I mean, they're Europeans. They know. No, this is to up the ante and start supplying these more. What? We're going to have World War III? We know World War II. We know World War I. We know the European thesis goes back 2,000 years of just slaughtering each other over and over. They know. That's why the euro was put together. She's like, no, it won't solve anything. It'll make it worse. It's a horrible situation. They know. The Germans know. They all know in Europe. They know. I mean, it's fresh. Wasn't that long ago? So, what I think happened, the military personnel were pissed. So they decided to make a strike Sunday night. So, now this guy claims that 200 soldiers were killed. Now, I don't know if it's true, but that's what he said in his press conference. That's released on the vlog. He's the commander of the Ukrainian so-called rebels that are fighting back the so-called freaking Russian-backed forces. You know, propaganda versus propaganda. Who knows? But we saw the bomb. It's the power of this genre. Got that video, and it's been videoed from multiple angles. You know, it's been confirmed over and over and over. People say it wasn't. Oh, yes, it was. And so we saw it. It didn't look like the one in September that blew up, the chemical plant. It looked very different. It was a mushroom cloud. So we know that there's plutonium and nuclear stuff everywhere. It's everywhere all over the Ukraine, the Manhattan Project Ukraine. So I think they hit it. Hit it with a missile. My guess, they hit it from freaking way up, probably with a fighter jet, an American fighter jet, well, masked over the UN. We'll never know. Who knows how it got hit? But I think they had no idea was it in there. I think they had no clue what was in there. And when it blew up, they're like, oh my God, what the fuck did we just hit? Because that was one epic explosion. Oh my God. A nuclear? Absolutely. Now let's talk about this. I know because I've done this my whole life. I know the Sokolov thesis. I know the Tsar bomb versus the 350 open air tests in Nevada. I mean, I could write 80. I mean, I could go so far deep into this, because I've lived it my whole life. As the so-called Cold War was going on, the plutonium plants, do you understand how many freaking bombs that Russia made and the United States? It was in the Ukraine. That's where these dump sites are on. It's been widely reported for years and years and years. They've lost track of their nuclear waste. Plutonium. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in Russia, especially in the Ukraine. So it's in all. So these are chemical plants, okay? They're state-run government chemical plants. Do you know what's in there? Do you think they stopped? Do you think, just like the United States military, just because Gorbachev and Reagan signed the deal, so Megan Rice breaks into Y-12 because they're in violation of international law. International law said when they signed the deal, not only will we stop making some, the United States and Russia will be getting rid of them in goodwill. Neither side conformed. Neither side. Y-12 still making. That's why Megan Rice broke in. By the way, she thought she would be shot. And I did too. I said, anybody that had the guts to break into Y-12's got to be insane. They will be killed even trying. It's the most heavily guarded. We thought spending millions and millions of dollars, privatized the security forces to watch. First guy in the stand inside the courtroom was the security guard. What a joke. We're paying hundreds of millions of dollars being to pay the Dragon Slayer. I mean, as taxpayers, we're paying billions of dollars to secure these places. I've been out in Energy Solutions, and I don't cross the line. There's no security out there. They're bringing in the freaking nuclear waste from Italy right now. I've got video of them in the boxcars. I'm in all these places, and I go I know the law. I keep a copy of the law in my back freaking pocket, 1986 Surveillance Act. And I don't cross the line. I obey the law. I can video as long as I don't cross. There's no fucking security out there. There's no security out there. There's no security. We're paying billions of dollars. There's no security in any of these places. So she breaks in. I thought they'd be shot. 85-year-old nun in the middle of the day was cut her just for things. She's there for 6 fucking hours. This is the most dangerous place, supposedly, on the world, with all the plutonium stored there, oh boy, it's there. It is there. Oh boy, is it there. And think about in restitution what they know her with restitution. I mean, I think the prosecutor wanted $600,000 in restitution. I'm an ex-contractor for what? Some cut-link chain link fence and some spray paint on some concrete. I mean, give me $1,200. I'll go in there, fix the fence, and take a freaking sandblasting pot and clear it off and be done. I'll do it in an afternoon. This is the freaking corruption that's gone in America. And this is all pork. This is all defense contracting fucking pork. They're still making tanks that we never will use. I mean, this is the military. This contract has gone completely insane. It's happened. It's gutting the country, just like it gutted Russia. I mean, they went all in military. Mayday, mayday every day. United States, mayday, mayday, mayday every day. The military, it's on. It's on. It is the entire economy. We don't manufacture anything. We sent that to China. I mean, service-based economy, so you either serve coffee to each other, get in the government, become a cop, become a firefighter, and do nothing. Do nothing. By this way, I'm friends with New York City Fire Department. They don't work. There's no fires in New York City anymore. They go inspect a building once in a while. They're not like they are here. They're ETMs here. The fire department here, they work because they get called out on all the drug overdoses in the pill popping capital of the world here. And drug overdoses are freaking and suicide are off the hook here. Yet the legislature, through the Mormons, they've changed the law on reporting obituaries now. There's very good reason around the world that by law you have to report the cause of death in an obituary, and you have to have an obituary. So governments can't cover up things like pill overdoses in Utah, like suicide in Utah, because like the climate freaking catastrophe that's going on in Utah, they just cover it up by capturing the media. Our forefathers understood this. That's why it has to have a death certificate. It has to be signed. They have to give their opinion on what caused death. The state of Utah has backdoored all those laws. So they're under-reporting suicide. They're under-reporting pill epidemic. The pill epidemic capital of the world, ball and none. They're all on fails. They're all fake, and their hair's straight phony, out of their minds. Gone. Suicide is off the hook. These guys get called out. I'm friends with some of these ETMs, these firemen around here. You got to hear the fucking stories. You got to see what they see on a daily basis. I don't know how they do it. I honestly do not know how they do it. You got to hear the fucking suicides and the death they go on daily. It's off the fucking hook here. It's insane. That's a repression society. The suicide capital of the world, Saudi Arabia. The second, probably Utah. The two most repressed societies in the world. Now, that leads me to the Obama list. The Swiss bank accounts have started to leak the list. Now, you think about this. Okay, they've leaked out now the 1980 NAM represses in China. They say the daughter hadn't gone. Now, you think, how amped up and geeked up did we get in 1989 about Tiananmen Square? By the way, I am the only guy that was allowed in the cage with the original Tiananmen Square protesters who got exiled, who fled, who are living in New York City. I'm friends with them. By the way, there are some great, great activists. They are the real people. I protested them with at the UN. I'm the only guy, because I have a liaison for a young female there who's Chinese, who does underground reporting, who believes in me. She loves me, and she believes in me. She's talked to them. They let me in their cage. They have a cage at Times Square. They're protesting Dr. Wang's incarceration. He's been there for 14 years now, 13 years. In solitary confinement. They're protesting. They let me in there. That's that video you see me drinking the blood, whatever. So now they're saying, oh, look at this. His daughter, repressor. It's 10,000 times more repressive now than it was then by American corporations. Steve Chinese Jobs. They're all American companies over there doing the repressing the slaves. Executing Chinese fucking people left and fucking right for body parts flown into the United States. It's become a fucking kill zone. The greatest repressors are, we don't care. We don't give a fuck here. What's a tariff? And you can argue with tariffs economically all you want, which you're fools, because you can see where we've gone. What about morality? The Tariff Act of 1791 was put in, yeah, economically they needed it, and they all agreed to it, to block the East India Company. But it was based in morality. Let's get real. Hamilton watched the slave trade in the Caribbean. He was doing the books of the slave traders at 12, 13 years old. He knew what it created. We're all for it here. So Saudi Arabia, they're named the Saudi, the Arabian Peninsula, the Ottoman Empire, was taken by who? Oh, the Saudi family? How did one family take over the greatest empire in the longest empire in human history. Oh, the United States military, oil interests back then. Standard Oil, Rockefeller, oh boy, Halliburton, freaking Cheney complex. It's just an evolution. You know, oil, oil, oil. What do you think the Ukraine's full of? Oil, 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 gold, 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 oil, 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 the queen fucking thing. You know, what do you think Iraq was? Russians own the oil interests in Iraq. What do you think Syria is? Who owns the fucking natural resources, the last stand? Russians. They're last stand, Syria. You know, and so you got these CIA agents. By the way, it always comes out that these people that end up getting executed, get killed, that are over there, they're all CIA, by the way, all of them. Human rights aid workers, you know, Daniel Pearl, all of them. They work for the CIA. Those are big gigs. You know, you go over there, and they're very tricky. Being played like a fiddle to extract natural resources to gain wealth for the freaking elitists. It's not New World Order. It's old as Babylon and evil as hell. Here we go in the Ukraine. Oh boy, and I'm telling you, it's not going to play out well. It already hasn't. You know, people have already been killed. I'm talking to this woman. She's like, oh my God, you would not believe, Kevin, what's going on, the atrocities. She says, we got out. I'm trying to get my mom and dad out. We're trying to get them, and then they're having trouble. She got out. Her husband. You know, it's pretty amazing. Political asylum, people that whistleblow. So the list is coming out of Switzerland. We've tried to get this list since World War II. Suit. Finally had a whistleblower, finally won. Switzerland says, here you go. Handed the Obama administration on a freaking silver platter. Obama makes a speech early in his presidency. Says, we're going to start releasing the names. Then he comes back out and he says, well, we'll give you 1 year to pay your back taxes on all this illegal money, and then we won't release your name. But we're going to still release your names. 2010, January 1st. Comes and goes. They just kicked him because he knows who's on the fucking list. We know who his handlers are. So now they're going to do it. They're playing a game, just like they did with the list on steroid use in Major League Baseball. You get in a fight and get in a little spat, we'll leak out a few names. Why not just put the whole list out? Which they didn't do. No, they use it as a weapon. That's what they did for baseball. As soon as they get mad at somebody, put it out there, which they were all doing it. They have them all on the list. Why not just put the whole list out there? Fucking Selig piece of shit. As sport mirrors culture. Oh boy. Cheater, 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 cheater. Wealth, 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 wealth. So, that list. So, you can see, they leak it out. They're starting to leak it out yesterday and today. Oh, the daughter of the Tiananmen Chinese, which tells me there's something very much a brew going on in the elitist structure. You see that famous picture with Putin and the Chinese elitists freaking live. You know, this is an elitist structure. You know, they take on manufacturing jobs, they backdoored all labor rights and just put them in China, and they annihilated you, and you're all comfortable numb. You'll go to work at 4:30 in the morning. Rush hours at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is insanity. Kids are going to school. I mean, it's insanity. But you're willing to do it to go what? Further in debt? Chase your tail? I guess what's the alternative? Be homeless. You know, so America won't rise up. They're too ignorant. They're too stupid. They're too dogma. They drink the Kool-Aid. They're getting older. They're getting more paranoid. They're afraid of their own shadow. Boo. Paranoia will destroy you. Well, I'm here to tell you the military freaking complex and their arrogance is out of control. They think they're just going to go in the Ukraine and blow this up, and there's going to be no retaliation. This is such a dangerous situation. Now, will they go and try to negotiate with Putin and try to buy him off? Maybe. Maybe. That's why, hey, why you get mad? You're in the club, Putin. You're one of us elitists. You know, you're rich. You extract a big company. I'll tell you why. Because the people that are propping up Putin, they want no part of that. They understand what's happened to Russia. They understand what's happened to their freaking, you know, the old empire that stood for 2,000 years. They know it's been crushed in poverty and freaking raped and nuclearized. That military structure still exists there. You went to, my uncle got to go there in the 1970s, and he says, you would not believe the way the military freaking hierarchy lived in Russia in the freaking 70s. Like royals. Why the country was just impoverished because they went all in there. Sound familiar? Look up how a five-star lives in the United States of America right now. Multi-million-dollar houses, servants, chefs. We're going down the same way. And we're indoctrinated the fascist thesis into it. Police somehow are warriors and heroes? What? What? Law enforcement? How did they come up with that word? Well, I thought they were police. So they're the enemy against their own repressors, and people sound familiar? Here we go. But if you think the United States military is going to go, we're just going to kick their ass like we did in Afghanistan. Remember we boycotted the 1980 Olympics? For what? Russia's invasion of Afghanistan. Everybody wants to put Jimmy Carter up on a fucking pedestal. Huh? That fuckhead fucking piece of shit fucking Bible packing fucking Jesus freak, which he didn't know anything about Jesus. Oh, all he did the whole fucking time is, I'm the great savior. I'm going to solve the Middle Eastern equation. Anwar Sadat killed is what he did. So Bible packer, didn't even understand. And I'm all for the Bible. And I'm all for freaking religion quoting scriptures, but not the way you evangelicals have hijacked the story of Jesus. No, I'm the true story of it. Long-haired freaking Jewish slave throwing the money changer. I love that guy. I love what he stood for, what he did. What they've hijacked religion to this country is obscene. It's sad. It's sad. What's her name says all the mega churches in the country are for profit only. That's what they turned it to, for profit only. Jesus died so I could be rich? I don't think so. So these arrogants think, we're just going to kick Afghanistan's ass like we Iraq, where we poisoned the Garden of Eden with white phosphor time and again, annihilated that incredible old culture, which we did. I can't believe people cannot see what's going on. The colonization of the world, taking ancient, magnificent cultures, rich in everything, history, literature, art, all of it, and destroying it, absolutely destroying it. They did it. The Garden of Eden, where the Tigris meets the Euphrates. Baghdad did it. Destroyed it. Afghanistan destroyed it. Turned it into a freaking war zone. For time and all eternity because of nuclearism. Now we're going to do it to Ukraine? Where's next? Where do they stop? Where do these monsters stop? We got these ticking time bombs sitting all over the United States called nuclear reactors. We don't even use nuclear power, and Japan does not prove you that old technology went by the wayside a long time ago. Technology passed it up 20, 30 years ago. Carter did do that right. He had solar panels on the White House. The technology passed it. It's old, it's tired, and it's a joke. It's uranium mines, it's not magic. Boiling water, 410 minutes, that's what global warming is nuclear reactors. Think about that. 410 freaking water boilers boiling all the water on Earth over and over into the atmosphere. Oh, that's not freaking heating up the atmosphere. That's not putting in freaking... I'm a baker. What's a cake? I'm a fisherman. What's a boat? I'm an environmentalist. What's Fukushima? False equivalency. The Green Party, the only thing green about the Green Party, Jill Stein, is her bank account. The only thing green about I stayed with the native frauds in D.C. in their house. What a bunch of dirty, stinky, hippie, worthless pieces of dog shit. Worthless. When I led the Million Mass March, and I led that thing, John Anthony and I, Steve Grant, Katie, that's an amazing, powerful movement that we. I would like to say thank you to everybody in London who protested. How great were they? The protesters there are awesome. They get it. They understand what I know. John Hurley himself come over. Yeah, the lion. The old media lion. Supreme Court lion. Come over and had a long talk with me. He gets it. He's the one that told me, he says, you think Kevin Camp's that, and you're a fool. So all these leading parties, he's freaking, it's all false equivalency for money. All of them. I'm the real deal. And I know I'm the real deal, just like Edward Abbey was so pulled back on, so hardcore. They hated him. Oh, that fucking establishment. The fucking hating him. Greenpeace has been hijacked. Sierra Club, I knew Stegner. Stegner would cry. Hijacked. It's all false equivalency, hijacked. And no one responds for me. I got a few people that send me a little bit of money here that are great. And that's our little small army, purity. Most of them anonymous, whatever. And I'll do what I do. It's just the way it is. I'm using the British genre and human history. YouTube camera is so abused. Oh, it's a false flag. Get my gun. Gold, God's gun. So, and the American feeds on it like fucking, fainting goats. Sheep, lambs. I'm a counterculturist because I have a tattoo. When 75% of the freaking population has a tattoo. I'm a counterculture because I ride a Harley when everybody's got a Harley. I'm a counterculture because I talk about false flags and I got guns and gold when 90% of you all fucking do. That's counterculturist? No, that's sheep. Sheep. You've been false equivalent. You heard it right off the fucking cliff. Gerald Celente, the market's going to crash in 2014, 2013, 2012. Oh, the dollar's going to crash when the dollar crashed in 2003. Dollars have made the biggest fucking gains in the history of the dollar over the last 4 years. Gold's going to 5,000 when gold's been crashing. Silver's going to the moon when silver. I did a video the day that silver, 47 video in my classroom. Get out to the day. I did a video to the day on gold at 1900. Get out. Did videos to the day. Triple down, double down on Apple at 200. Triple down on Apple at $90. Videos to prove it all. My Tesla at 15, 16. Videos to prove it. Impossible? Absolutely impossible. Cassandra's offspring? Oh boy. Everybody says, oh, that's arrogance. It ain't arrogance. That's just the fucking, you don't understand arrogance, please. I'll tell you who's arrogant. These false equivalency fuckers who can be dead wrong. Every time, Max Kaiser, fucking Gerald Celente, fucking Paul Bagley, all these guys that are all over and call themselves alternative media, RT, all of them. They get it dead wrong over and over and over and continue to freaking rank how great they are. That's arrogance. How can you get it dead wrong? Silver at 45, silver at 35, it's going high. Silver's at 16. Doesn't matter now. It says, oh, it's going to. Doesn't matter. It's called opportunity cost. Oh, the Dow's going to 3,000. Glenn Beck, freaking doubling down, grounded that one. The Dow's at 7,000. The Dow's at 8,000. 18,000. It's called opportunity cost. They destroyed you. Well, so you sold all your at 8,000, 9,000. And I can prove it because I have state tree data that y'all did it. Everybody did it. And Dow did it. Freaking everybody did it. And you bought gold. You bought gold at 1,500, 1,600, 1,700. You bought silver at 45, 35. Okay, do the math. So you got 100,000. You sold 100,000 out of your Dow at Dow 7, 8,000. You went all in gold and silver, and everybody did it. Your 100,000 is probably worth about 50,000 now. If you're lucky, probably really more like 35,000. You left it in the Dow. Your 100,000 with dividends reinvested is 300,000. So you go from people that stayed in 300,000. And so, oh, that's not real money. It's paper. What? Do you think gold's real money? Something that comes out of the dirt, people just dig up, and you think, oh, you don't think these people? And it's just like, oh, China's going to be buying up more gold. Why would China buy any gold on the world organ and go mine their own gold? They have gold all over in their fucking soil. And they can use slaves to dig with their own hands. That's what they do. Same in Russia. Not real money? What, gold and silver is real money? It's a fucking rock that comes out of the fucking dirt, which was the Queen. Again, what was their mode of exchange? And the Queen got rid of that. Birds of paradise. Dodo birds' feathers were the currency. They were the most elite currency. Flowers. So what did the Queen do? She put a bounty on it because she wanted to turn her mines into the currency. They made them extinct. They killed you think about killing the birds of paradise. You know how grand they were? You know how spectacular they were, those creatures? Killed them all. Why? So they could make gold because they owned the mines. They owned the mineral rights. That's why. Uranium. They own all the mineral rights. That's why they're all in nuclear. It's a cash cow from hell that we don't use. Now it's nuclear bombs. You know how many of them are sitting in the Ukraine? You know how many of these chemical factories like this, these so-called chemical mission dumps, are full of old plutonium? And who knows what they're up to, maybe even new. Do you think they ever quit making bombs in Russia? You ever think they quit making bombs in the United States? They didn't. The Manhattan Project never stopped. White 12 prover. I've been all through there. Go to the high school in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Their symbol is the atomic symbol on the side of the wall. They never stopped. They never stopped. There's no answer for the waste. My PhD in the 90s proved 252 malicious dumps in the United States. And everybody still argues with me this day. And I could prove them. I know where they're all at. I go to them. I protest at them. There's videos all over to prove all this. I go there. I don't care if 3 people watch. I could give a rat's ass. I don't give a fuck. I could care less how many people support me and follow me. You know, I just need a small, good handful. And I'm going to find a partner. I'm going to find somebody with some serious money who's the real fucking deal. And we're going to get together, and we're going to get my books out, and we're going to freaking get my freaking art out, and we're going to get my freaking mind out, and we're going to do this. You know, David reached into his bag, and he pulled out the stone, and he slung the stone, and it struck the giant in the forehead. And it embedded in the giant's forehead, and the giant fell to the earth. You know, Spartacans, 300 of this, Leonidas, these are all based on mythological ideals. Huh, are they? Are they? Little Red Riding Hood? Huh, are they Lambros? Are they real? It's sure the stories that we continue to repeat for centuries, over and over and over, because they're based on real stories, Cassandra. They're based on human virtue. They're based on human realities. They're based on right from wrong, and you can't take pills. to mask. Why do you think you're taking all of it? Because you're subconscious. You cannot trick the subconscious. That's Danish philosophy. That's where I come from. That's how my life was saved. Because I listened to my subconscious. I listened because you can't trick it. I had a dream before I got cancer. The cancer inside my body, Vincent Hansen, the Danish philosophy doctor that saved me. Bimbo, the Danish philosopher saying me, you hold on to that dream, Kevin. You hold on. This cancer is brutal. It's wicked in you. You know, it would kill most anyone. But I believe in you. You fight. You fight. You have enough fight. I know you. You're a fighter. And so I fought. And so I'm going to continue to fight. I don't give a fuck. I mean, the trolls and the rats and the thing, I mean, try to be teed up in Canada over and over and over, try to be teed up by so many people that lie. Oh, here, I got $250,000 for you. Lies. Spent $20 million on it. I spent $20,000 on attorney fees. When I got $14,000, $6,000 of my money that I didn't even have because they teed me up. They tried every dirty trick in the world on me. Every one. By the way, I know for a fact they're repressing my view counts, the NSA. I know for a fact. My uncle, the neurosurgeon, who doesn't even like me, he's mad at me, you know, and my ways. He's in China giving a speech a long time ago. He was asked, last name Blanch. Are you related to Kevin? Yeah, my nephew. Says hundreds of people stood up and cheered. You know, you don't want the truth? I told them in Cassandra, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell the truth. That munitions bump was full of nuclear waste inside that. But did they know? Probably. Just like they knew when they marched my father into Nevada test site in human lab rattling. They didn't care. Teller admits it. Yeah, we lab rattle him. We don't care. That Hungarian fucking bastard that he was. Lawrence, they didn't care. When they sent the USS Reagan in and the other 8 ships, they knew. And I can prove it. I proved they knew. 800,000 armor, they didn't care. You think they care in the Ukraine about the Ukraine? They don't care. They don't care because they're bloodthirsty sickos. And you sit on, watch your Fox News and beat the war drums and CNN, these freaking warmongering, freaking war prophets, they're paid. Brian Williams was paid. Not even paid, told to do what he did. And you think about Dan Rather, who went into Vietnam, and the great protesters. You're all still alive. The great protesters put a stop to that freaking war. And that was the protesters in the street, you young men and women when you were college students there, the peace activists, the incredible activists. It worked. What happened to you? You got older. I understood. You stood down. But you can't even be an elder. You can't even advise. You know, I grew up respecting elders. I'll respect Helen, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to listen to what they all have to say, and their PhDs, and she can get her honorary degree just like Noam Chomsky did. Noam Chomsky said at the University of Florida and got his honorary degree because he says, the academians would do this. Noam Chomsky needs to retire. He's old, worn out, and tired, and he doesn't get it anymore. He doesn't understand that academia has been captured just like the rest. And if Fukushima doesn't prove it to you, the greatest PhD opportunity in human history is called Fukushima in the Pacific Ocean. See a PhD out there? Nope, they're sitting with their feet up on their desk in their glass house regurgitating. Are they told it? No, they're just lazy. They're lazy pieces of dog shit. Williams all were told. TASS, English provider, state-run media, absolutely. This country is 100% the military coup of 2000. 15 years later, they did it. Mission accomplished. They've colonialized the world, and they're not going to stop. The United States, the Queen's bitch on a leash. Churchill played long ball. Stalin's first words when FDR died at Yalta in April. FDR died back at Warm Springs in Georgia. Who poisoned him? It never ended. This is going to get ugly. It already has gotten ugly. You just can't see it. World War III began last year. It's on. It's happening. Tell that to say that it has. Go talk to somebody in the Ukraine. Stay tuned. We'll talk more about this on Thursday, and I've come to the conclusion, fuck, I don't care. My best work's by myself any fucking way, always has been. I'm willing to do the fucking work. You know, of course, it's spite that I was ever born to set this right. Country and Western version of Hamlet. Good. Fuck it. Told the truth. I've told it just the way it had to be, in a very Cassandra way.